Hi, in this week's video, Module 6, we are talking about EMS crisis. This is Chris Fries. He works at the PRP Fire Department here in Louisville, Kentucky. How long have you been working here, Chris?
20 years.
20 years. This is actually the headquarters, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Okay. So, what do you feel the greatest crisis in EMS has been in the last 15 years or more?
Across the last 15 years, I would say that it's the shortage of personnel. With all the older folks retiring out and just not having the younger folks that really want to get involved into it, or the outreach programs for EMS programs are probably not there to really get the attention of kids coming straight out of high school or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Plus with the state pension, the retirement system's changed. It's not as great as it used to be, like the working 20 years and retiring. They changed that. Insurance has changed.
The insurance policies?
Insurance policies. Salaries are not keeping up with like some of the other streamlined technical jobs. Mm-hmm. So kids coming out of high school are like, I only want to make, or I want to make $100,000 a year, but reality is like $30,000, $40,000 for a beginning EMT.
I actually did a research paper on how I believe that first responders deserve more pay than what they get, and a lot of people agreed.
Yes, we are underpaid, but a lot of us are here because we love the job and love showing up. That's the big thing, is enjoying coming to work. Mm-hmm. So really need to get some outreach programs, and the training hasn't changed too much. I mean, there's a lot higher standards of training than probably 2000, where it was less hours to get certified as an EMT or paramedic probably. But now, they've increased those hours, which is good. It's better to have a lot more training and hands-on training.
Why do you think that crisis has happened or is happening? And what would you do or would have done to prevent or change the outcome?
Like I say, probably the outreach, I probably already answered that. But talking about the retirement and salary and insurance programs for families, and just being able to better, I guess, make it more interesting, or draw the younger generation.
Give them the knowledge that they're unaware of.
Right.
To bring them in.
Yeah, to bring them in, and that's what I would do, was start more outreach programs, just to hit them when they're young and get them drawn in.
Connect with them.
Yes, connect with them early on. All the younger generation is more techy, so there's a lot more ways to outreach or get outreach to people.
Why do you think the insurance policies have changed? Do you think something had happened for them to change?
Well, that's overall healthcare, just the cost of healthcare, and the plans for employers are not as rich as they once was. So you're more money out of pocket for less coverage. I think it affects everybody, not just the medical people. Well,
that's it. Thank you so much. Yep, that's it. Thank you. What would you do to prevent these types of issues going forward? Or how would you have anticipated or mitigated these crises? With the crises that Chief Chris Fries mentioned, which were shortage of personnel, insurance policies changing, retirement systems changing, salaries, and not keeping up with the latest streamlines, it's kind of hard to prevent insurance policies and retirement policies from changing. That's kind of out of your hands. As well as salaries. These are out of people's control unless you are higher ranked and you are capable and able and certified to make these decisions. If people's salaries change negatively, I would mitigate this crisis by giving them more hours each month, or making sure that they are on call when usually they are not. I would also try to ensure that they get the minimum wage of their job position that they are enrolled for. It's hard to prevent shortage of personnel, but you can mitigate it, which means make less severe. You can do this by reaching out and connecting with your community, especially with younger generations, and inform them of the benefits and the value that EMS has to offer and the positive side through EMS, and not just the negative that the news may prevail, to society nowadays. Because there are positive experiments and great outcomes through the job of EMS. Yes, we may have negative outcomes and negative patient outcomes, but if you are well informed, then I believe that you have more of a chance of having a positive patient outcome. Definitely invest in some outreach programs. Maybe, local departments can go to local schools in the district and inform those schools and those students of the opportunities that they have through EMS, or where they can go to college for EMS careers, because there is a shortage of personnel. And informing the community that there is a shortage of EMS personnel may alarm them and may spark their interest in EMS more. It's better to draw in the younger generations because older people either already have their careers going, families started, or no desire for college or education in EMS. Younger generations may not have their mind made up with what they want to do for their life, and so by informing them, it may spark their interest in EMS and following an EMS career. And this can help with shortage of personnel. Also, with shortage of personnel, you can maybe reach out to EMS departments and agencies that are local or are within a certain mile range, and maybe ask them if they could send some EMS personnel over to work at your department, at that specific department, for a few shifts until you hire personnel as a leader. You want to make sure that when you are reaching out to these people, you want to connect with them on a positive note, and make sure you are aware of everything that they would have to go through to make that change to come over to your department for that shift. Also, it's kind of hard to prevent the retirement system changing as well. They used to have it to where you could work in EMS for 20 years and then retire, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And now those have changed. There's nothing you can do about that. That's basically the government changing that. As well as interest rates. Or excuse me, not interest rates, I'm sorry. As well as pricing regulations on stuff within your agency. There's nothing you can control about that, especially if there's an inflation within the economy. But other than that, it's kind of difficult to prevent some of the crises that Chief Fries had mentioned, but there are ways that you can mitigate these crises. Thank you for watching this week's video, and yeah.